Bonjour la classe, c'est moi Monsieur Springer, votre professeur. I wanted to give you a couple of tips on how to do projects. You will have projects throughout this French 2 course in pretty much every unit, I'm pretty sure. And they usually come in four different parts, and I just kind of want to explain how I grade, what's expected with the different parts, etc. So you'll notice right off the bat, there are some directions on this. This first project is to be all in French because you're obviously learning the language for this stuff. Your daily routine stuff like je me lève, je mange le déjeuner, je me douche, je me brosse les dents, things like that. And it's pretty simple. You're just going to have either some clip art or an image, or better yet, an actual photo of yourself doing these activities, and then you're going to write about it, write the caption, the French you're learning to that corresponds with that activity. But other projects sometimes are going to be in English. If it's the task that you're doing obviously is above the level of what you've learned, then the language will be in English. And usually it will specify what language. Like this, in this case, it says use French. Um, also, just to note, like part one is usually a brainstorming type of thing. You don't have to send a ton of stuff there. You definitely don't give me your whole project, but just the things that you're thinking about. What do you think the project is going to look like? And then for feedback, I'll usually just say, hey, it looks great. Or I might not even give you any feedback, but just give you 100%. That means I approve of your idea. Part two is going to be a rough draft of your essay, which basically just means the writing part. Don't think it has to be a paper. By essay, it just means like, show me what you're going to be writing, your written sentences. That way I'll give you some feedback on your work, and that may help you with part three, which is a rough draft of the entire project. In this case, by a rough draft of the entire project, that means just pretend like you're turning in the project, okay? The very best effort. So you should have your images, you should have your writing, and then you should have the speaking as well. Did you notice it says that the 15 activity sentences must also be recorded and attached? So I want to hear and see your writing for part three. And then you always want to wait for my feedback on your rough draft before doing part four, which is the final project. And that applies for all of the projects. Always wait to get my feedback before you do your final. And finally, in terms of when to do the projects, as you're going through the course materials, just like here, we're in, section 1, part E, you'll come across the directions each time, and it will tell you part 1 is due now. That means like where you're at this part of the course, try to turn in part 1 right now. Obviously, if you need a little bit more time to prepare it, give yourself some time, but by and large, you're going to want to stick to those deadlines. And just one more reminder, you always want to get my feedback on your rough draft before you turn in the final project. If anyone has questions on this or any activity in the course, please don't hesitate to reach out to me anytime. I'd be happy to help you.